Hey everyone, I'm Sakar, and I just got back to ESO after like a 6, 7, 8 month break. I don't even know how long it's been, but yesterday I started up the game for the first time in months, and it was my first time getting back into this experience for ESO, my first time getting into subclassing, my first time since a lot of changes with skills and everything. So it was a crazy experience. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit today, and I kind of want to give you a little short guide, I guess, on subclassing and my first thoughts on it, really, more or less, because I know that a lot of other people have, but I haven't yet, and so this is kind of what I wanted to get into today. So as we get started, if you could just do me one giant favor, hit that like button for me, hit that subscribe button for me, I would highly appreciate that. So to start this video off, I wanted to say I uninstalled ESO about 6, 7, 8 months ago because I was really getting burnt out on the game. I felt like it was extremely redundant. I felt like the game was in a really terrible spot, and I wanted to pursue content elsewhere. So I played a little bit of Marvel Rivals, and I really enjoyed myself, and we're going to continue to play Marvel Rivals, but we're going to add ESO back into the mix for things because I had a lot of time away, but we are back now, right? So I uninstalled because I wasn't happy with where the game was. I wasn't happy with where my mentality was with the game, and overall I just needed a break. We all need breaks every now and then, right? So we are back to it now. So now that it's been a few months, a giant new chapter has released, or whatever you want to call it. I don't even remember what they're called now. They're not doing chapters anymore. They're doing something else. I forgot what it's called. But anyway, a new one is out now, and I wanted to see how it went. And I'm gonna be honest, guys, I did not have high expectations going into this, but it's interesting. It is very interesting. Subclassing is something that at first, when I first heard it, I thought it was one of the biggest mistakes I've ever heard in my entire life. But after experiencing it a little bit, I'm still not 100% sold on it. Like I want to get that out there, guys. I'm not 100% sold on subclassing or anything yet. But that being said, I think that it's interesting that people can have such high damage in this game, because there's been a tank meta in ESO for I can't even tell you how many years now, where people just build tanky, people don't even have damage anymore, where people just want to build as tanks because they're afraid to die in this game. But that being said, with subclassing, you get all of the highest hitting abilities in every single class, more or less, and you can stack them. That way you're hitting extremely hard. So I think that there has been a kind of shift as far as turning this into a damage meta, and I think that's really cool. I'm really happy with that. But that being said, there are a few changes that I find to be extremely questionable. Like, I know that there's a lot of things that I don't know yet, guys, because, you know, I need to catch up with 6 to 8 months of different gameplay for ESO, so I know that I'm really far behind. But that being said, I think that when I saw that there were 2 spec bows now, 2 merciless resolves that Nightblades get now, I'm gonna be honest, I thought that my chat was lying to me. I thought that my chat was playing a prank on me. I thought that they were lying to me. And once I saw that for myself, I genuinely laughed out loud so hard, because I have never seen a worse decision in this game. That alone right there is one of the things where I don't care what they say, you cannot justify having 2 spec bows right there. So that alone is terrible, and I think that's a huge loss, and I think that needs to be reverted ASAP. Like, I do not like that. I think that's horrible. But that being said, that is the one negative thing that I found, right? I want to put that out there first because I do want to talk about some of the positive things. Subclassing. At first, like I said, I was extremely skeptical. But that being said, as I played around with it more, I kind of enjoy it a little bit. I'm not going to say it's my favorite thing in the world, because I haven't even unlocked all the skill lines yet for everybody. Like, I've only done a few, like 1 or 2 Nightblade ones and 1 and 2 DK ones. I want to unlock all of them and be able to test them out and everything. But that being said, it's interesting. I think it's really cool to be able to combo damage. Like, the spec bow is unbelievable. Like, oh my god, like, it's unbelievable hitting that with a streak going on too, and hitting an incap on a Sork. Like, it's so weird to me. Like, it's so weird. But that being said, it was weird how they announced subclassing as a thing, because to me, one of the things that always held ESO back, and one of the excuses that they always gave, was we can't really add new classes to the game or random classes to the game because we do need to follow the lore of Elder Scrolls. So I'm curious as to what changed with subclassing, because I'm gonna be honest, I don't think it's part of the lore where DKs are using Sorc abilities and Sorcs are using Necromancer abilities and Necromancers are using Templar abilities. Like, I don't know, call me weird, but I don't really think that's part of the lore. I don't know. What do I know though? So I feel like it is it's one of those changes where they're just like, how can we recycle the content that we have into the game into a fresh way? Which I get. I understand, like, it's year, what, 11 or 12? I don't even know what year it is at this point for ESO. And I get it. You need to help a game that's kind of, I wouldn't say it's on its last legs, but I definitely see, we can all see that it's definitely on the, it's on the second half of its life, I would say. It's definitely not on the first half of its life anymore. So they needed to find a way to recycle content while also keeping it fresh. So I get it. I understand the perspective of subclassing. It just feels like it came out of nowhere, and it goes against all of the reasons why they gave as to why we can't get new classes or anything. So I'm just curious if we're ever going to get a new class again. I don't know. I don't think so, but I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments or not. But it's weird. It's interesting having this be the meta where you can use basically a variety of different skills. I don't think I like it, because yes, the damage is high. It's really cool, but I feel like identity in this game has completely gotten thrown out the window. I remember when hybridization first happened and we got rid of stamina and magic versions of classes, more or less, and just made them classes, right? There was no such thing as a stamp sword anymore. There's no such thing as a mag sword. I mean, mag sword, that's a bad example. There's no such thing as a stam blade anymore, a mag blade. It was just night blade, more or less, because it was hybridized. Same thing with DK. Mag DK and stam DK were virtually identical. Same thing with stamplar and magplar. You know the deal. So it kind of took identity out the window, and it took all of the options and cut them in half from magplar or mag versions and stam versions of your classes just to that version, like just to that class. You know what I mean? So I think that took identity out the window. And I think what that did was it took a lot of theory crafting out the window. It kind of just made everybody go into one mold as far as, hey, you have to run this in order to get the very best results for PvP. So now that we have subclassing, now that it feels like there's less identity. We had very little identity to go off of in this game, in my opinion, and I feel like there's even less now with subclassing. I feel like it doesn't matter what class you're on, because who cares? Like, you don't even know if I'm on a Sorc or if I'm on like a Nightblade or a Necromancer or a Warden. Like, you can't even tell because the abilities were always the defining feature of it, but now that doesn't matter, because now you can use 2 skill lines from other classes as well. So to me, it just takes all the identity out the window. And I feel like there are better ways to be able to introduce more damage, more skill, more variety as far as sets, as far as skills go, as far as champion points go. There are better ways to introduce more variety, but this was kind of one of those changes where they made it seem like this is the end all be all and this is the future that we're going with for ESO, and it's very confusing to me, because I feel like the direction that they've been going with in PvP is it kind of feels like they don't know what they're doing. It kind of feels like they're trying to just make random changes, because I think one of the things that really led me to burnout on this game was the BG's changes. The BG change was back in, when was that? October, November? I forgot when that was. But I don't mean to turn this into a bashing video. I really don't, because I want to put the facts out there and how I feel. I feel like the BG change was probably one of the worst things that they ever did for PvP. They tried to make it a 2v2 game, or a 2-sided game mode, when ESO has never been that. It's never been built for exact balance. And the best form of balance in this game is having 3 teams to keep each other in check. It's an Ouroboros for a reason. And so to make it so that it's 2 teams in BGs, it really really killed BGs for a lot of people, myself included, and it just made all of the BGs just not fun. It was either one-sided stomps, or it was just all tanks and healers looking at each other, just, you know, thumbs in their pockets, all that stuff. So that was one of the things where it kind of led ESO into a weird direction, and going from there directly into subclassing, it feels like they're not even listening to their own rules anymore, and it feels like we're just in for a wild ride where they're throwing darts at a dartboard just with ideas on it, and just whatever the dart hits, you know, that's what they go with. So I don't know. I want to make a few more videos on this matter and talk about it more coherently and do like one topic at a time, but I don't know. I kind of want to just give a first thoughts of my return to ESO and just what I've experienced and what I've seen so far. So I don't know, subclassing is interesting, but that being said, it does confuse me significantly. It's interesting but confusing, if that makes sense, and that's basically the best way I could put it. So I do want to put out more. Would you guys be interested in subclassing guides? Would you be interested in build videos in the future? I do need to experiment a lot more to actually put out proper build videos. What are you guys looking for as far as ESO stuff goes? I am just getting back into it, so I am down to do anything and everything. I really want to hit the ground running when it comes to content for YouTube. So guys, I just want to say once again, thank you so much for watching. If you do me a few giant favors, hit that like button for me on the way out, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and if you can, do me one last giant favor, just comment anything. I don't care what you comment, but let's get that algorithm going. Comment, how has your day gone so far today? I hope you had a great day so far. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Later.